Hey fellas, how you doing? It's Johnny. It's such a lovely day, so calm and peaceful. Perfect day for a really deep, uncomfortable, painful but very necessary video. These are the type of videos where I've got no choice to do them, and they make me uncomfortable doing these videos. That's why I do it, because like a teacher, I'm a student as well. In this video I want to talk about how to heal yourself from your past trauma that your parents have passed on to you, and how to become your own parent, go inside spiritually, fix your own heart, forgive your family, your parents, or the parent who you feel damaged you and made you feel unloved, unappreciated and confused, and all the rest of the stuff that comes with it. So I wanted to do this video because I just had a really awesome Skype session with a friend. I wouldn't say any information, and this came up. We talk about it, and I'll say to the guys, I'm in this with you guys. Yes, I'm a teacher, I'm aware of that, it's fantastic, but I've got a past, but I've got 1,000 stories behind me that I'm ashamed about as well. I've got loads of things that I'm not comfortable telling people, especially new people. When I meet them, I don't want them to have a bad opinion about me. But it will be selfish of me not to share my shame, my embarrassment, my old wounds of pure self-hatred towards myself and towards others and towards my family. I told you this video wasn't going to be comfortable, but it's honest. It has a nice ending, don't worry. And one of the things I learned myself, I told this to a guy I was coaching to over Skype, from direct experience. He felt it as well. I said, got to a stage in my life where I appreciated all the good things my mum and dad did, because believe me, they worked so hard to put food on the table. They gave me so much love, but the bad moments created a story that was so vicious. That vicious story overpowered all the good they did, and that created a hell of a lot of confusion in my psychology. I'll go through some of the things, and you guys might relate to this. It made me feel disloyal to my family. I felt like I'd betrayed them because I was resentful and angry towards the way some of the things they did. I felt ungrateful. I felt like a two-faced person. I felt like a dishonest person. I felt angry that that situation, that story made me feel that way. It projected onto all sorts of other things that I didn't feel loved, and I felt embarrassed that I didn't feel loved. I felt like I wasn't a man. Part of me felt like I was being a victim and looking for sympathy from people, so I was being completely pathetic. That irritated me, that angered me and frustrated me, and made me angry, ashamed, and that was a lot of where my insecurity came from. I think I speak for most people. It come from a feeling growing up not feeling loved. And it was interesting because when I look back, I remember so many moments feeling so loved by my mum and my dad. Just, you know, those golden moments that you remember as a kid at Christmas, and just being hugged, and, you know, being kissed by your mum and your dad saying I'm proud of you and all those things. But as I said, the stories, the parts where they were human, they made mistakes. Such a powerful story, and some of the poetry of the words that they said really affected me on every level. It affected me psychologically, like a possession in my body. It was painful. So socializing with people, sometimes it would invoke these feelings of distrust, these feelings of embarrassment and shame and anger and self-hate, and then the shame and the guilt that comes with all that stuff. So it got to a stage in my life where I just thought, I'm sick and tired of this. Because I realised it myself, I've learned from a lot of other people, the most terrifying thing in this world is to feel that you're not loved, that your existence is not appreciated, that you have no meaning on this earth, you have no purpose. It's just you are a fuck up, and that's how I used to feel. But that's always the victimization part of us. That is apparently, I'm quoting from psychology and my own deep intuitive understanding of myself and helping other people, that is the false self that feeds off this story. Most people are so damaged by their story, they choose to stay in that story. So you have to create a villain. So the villain becomes your dad or your mum or your sister, and it's all about what they did to me, which isn't right. It isn't right. But most of the time, if not all the time, they were not conscious of what they were doing. If they were conscious of what they were doing and the effects that it would have on you, they would never do that, because in damaging you, it would damage them. And Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about this, about the unconscious behaviour of human beings, and we've done it ourselves, haven't we? We've made these mistakes too. We've probably done things to our family that they're quite resentful when they remember. So we're only human, we make mistakes. But love is not something to be fucked around with. And for many years I couldn't speak about it. Love, I'm a grown man from a council estate. I'm from, you know, I'm a man, you know. We don't talk about love. That's for hippies. That's for soft people who have lost touch with reality. That's the people that are weak and cry. That's baby. But then you have another perspective on it. Then you go through this, what I've gone through and what you guys have gone through and what my students are going through. You come through it and you think, there's nothing fucking soft about it at all. It is the most courageous, honourable, honest, raw, difficult, beautiful process one could go through. The search for love. The whole meaning of this whole park, that's why this park's here. The trees, I go spiritual now, fuck it. The oxygen, the whole meaning why I wear this nice jacket and I present myself in such a way, because I want people to like me, I want to be loved. Why do I strive to become successful in business, in my job? Of course, because I genuinely want to help people. I like helping people. Selfishly, why? Because it makes me feel good. When I help people to love themselves, they love me back, we exchange love. It's not a bad thing. It's how the whole universe works. It's how God works. So back to what I said about becoming your own parent. This is when it gets incredibly exciting and worth it. And this comes in the format of forgiving the abuser, which I know is difficult. I had to do it. I had to face the monster, the story, that animal that bullied me and made me so frightened that I couldn't even talk about it to myself in my own inner dialogue. And it made me walk different. It made me speak different. It made me think different. It made me not be able to be myself socially. It really ruined me. Until I said enough is enough. Enough is enough. And the journey started from 22, going out sleeping with women, to try and get from them what I felt I didn't get from my family. Even though part of me thought I got a lot of love. The contradiction, the hypocrisy in me, the hypocrisy in my story. And then to realise that temporary they were healing me, these women, and I was, I guess, healing them back, but it wasn't sustainable because I didn't have an internal parent. So I wanted to start becoming a father figure. I wanted to be a man. I wanted to be a proper man. I also wanted to be a teacher for other people. I wanted to make a good boyfriend for a woman, take care of her. I wanted to be all these things. I'm a very romantic man. I know you guys are as well, deep down. Once I break you down and chip away all of your cockiness, alpha male steroid juice. So I thought, I'm not going to blame anyone anymore. I'm going to go on the inside. I'm not going to blame myself either. I'm going to forgive myself. I'm going to develop a parent. How did I do this? How do I continue to do it? Hope these seagulls don't attack me. I had to get my integrity right. I had to get mentors around me that were solid. I had to face myself. And I had to go inside like an operation, and I had to heal my heart. I had to literally go to work on my heart. It was broken. And I had to not feel ashamed about being ashamed that I felt resentment towards the family because I thought they didn't love me. Not feel disloyal, because there's nothing disloyal about it. I'm going right towards the truth. Also wanting to feel compassion for them because they struggle too. Maybe something happened with their family that they didn't get the love they needed, or maybe they gave me and they gave you the best of what they had, and they couldn't give any more. So you can't really argue that. If someone gives you everything they have, they can't really give you much more. But what I realized was self-love, the kingdom within, is unlimited. It's a cup that can be overflown. So I could give myself as much self-love as I could, but I couldn't find it in dishonesty. I had to get myself congruent. I had to learn from teachers that have been on the journey, that have lived it, breathed it. And I started to do that, and I started to get healing. And the healing came in, and this is what I encourage my students, the healing came in facing fucking terror. Facing fucking really horrible nightmares. Some of those nightmares came in the form of public speaking that invoked certain feelings in me from a story. Some of them feelings came in reframing from addictions, pornography, talking about people behind their back, being angry, admitting there's bits of me that are wrong, admitting that I didn't treat people very nice at this particular stage, going in the past, going in the future, starting to love who I am, self-respect, integrity, honesty. It's incredible. And I start to build up this strong internal parent. Lots of crying to clear and to cleanse and get all that negativity out. And going through the different stages, having to walk the path of shame, walking through it, walking through the path of embarrassment, healing the heckling, loud verbal noises of all the bullies and the people at school that bullied me. That's fucking beautiful, isn't it? Going through that path and suffering it and coming out growing and forgiving them back and not being angry and not feeling any anger at all, complete healing. Going into the parts of me that are inspirational and aspirational, the parts of me that I love, the talent, the charm, the wisdom, the will to serve and to help others. Also recognising the selfish parts and not being afraid of them and bringing them out, wanting to make money, wanting to have a good business, wanting to be around attractive and wanting to do amazing things, and thinking it's part of being human. But knowing my purpose, knowing why am I here, what is my existence, what does God want me to do, having the courage to say God, having the courage to say what He wants me to do. Of course He wants me to be a parent to men. That's why He was a parent to me, to fix me, to help other people, for them to reparent themselves. And I've said it before, we parent ourselves by living an honest life, living with integrity, reframing from addictions. And I can go on to more of a simplistic language, being a nicer person, being more honest in your life, facing fears. When you start doing this, you start growing internally. The story changes. The story's no longer, I'm John who got bullied at school and my parents hated me. The story is, I'm John who lives a blessed life and I love my parents. I'm very grateful for what they've done for me and I forgive their mistakes because I made mistakes too. Or it's no longer, I'm just David who does the 9 to 5 and this is how life is and I can't change it and people don't like me and I can't trust people. It goes from, actually, if I can know I love my life, I trust myself and I trust people and I'm in a business that I love. You start changing the story. But it's a process. It's a process in it, and it's an ongoing process. It's not something you do over a weekend. And then the story becomes what they say profitable. The story is profitable because a story is a place where you can go in whenever you need inspiration, aspiration, self-love, and you can keep taking from that story. Changing the story by accepting the story. It's an illusion that it's changed. Healing yourself, healing your family. Through you changing, they change. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. And then you feel so much love, you feel greedy, you want to give it out. And then the voices quieten down, the voices that say, you're a phony, you're a fake. People know about how you are. That just goes away because you know it's not true. You know that you're the same person everywhere you go. And you make mistakes, you're still human. And it's like they say, apparently before enlightenment, cutting trees and whatever they're doing, the monks eating. After enlightenment, you're cutting the trees, you're eating. You're the same, but you're different. You just accepted yourself more and life is different. But we're still challenged with problems, we get better at managing it. And to know that everyone's human and it's all about love and everyone needs love. We need to give our parents love back, we owe it to them. But again, giving love is not a chore, it can't be faked, it must be a spontaneous act of unconditional love. And we can't give out what we don't have. So our parents did the best they could, and they'd probably done better than we think they did. And I know my mum certainly did, and my dad, because they made us. We have to be grateful. Have to accept them, their faults, the bits that challenge us, because they're only human beings. And what I've learned to do is, I want to become the best father I can become. I'll give my son what I felt I never had, and I'll also take the things that my parents gave me that were fantastic values, work ethic, good times, Christmases and all the rest of it. I'll pass that on. So we learn from our story, we learn the lesson, but we don't become victims. Becoming a victim is not being a man. Becoming a victim is not being a strong woman. Becoming a victim is bullshitting yourself that you're not enlightened, that you're not God, as Alan Watts would say, that you're not loved, because we're all loved. It's impossible not for one person to be loved than the other. It's just accessing it through finding out who we are. And you know, the rest of it I can't even language. I was talking to a guy today on Skype. He was saying, I'm experiencing things, Johnny, that I can't even put into words, but I feel it. I have feelings of love. I said, I totally understand what you mean. So a lot of it's hard to contextualize into a normal social language, but it's felt. Love is felt. And if there's places where you're not feeling loved, then you move away from there. And for me, love is a process. Love is, it's not constant all the time. We don't always feel love. If someone says they do, I want to meet this guru and I want to take their program because you're a human being, we do fall out of love, but we get ourselves back in love. And we love ourselves unconditionally, whether we accept ourselves. Beautiful, very good. And it's a constant process, it's exciting. And this is how you heal, and you become your own parent, and you don't seek validation from your family, you don't seek validation from me, you don't seek validation from your friends. You are validated, you are self-approved. Then you can, I'm going to contradict it, then you can enjoy some validation, the natural healthy amount we need, but you will have so much approval and self-love. You'll be the giver, and when you give, you receive anyway. So it all works out, and nothing's wasted. No one's existence is wasted. God can't do that. You can't put someone. Human life is not a mistake. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. It's just a mistake in the way we think. Because I used to think the same. I'm from a council estate. I'm the guy who goes to the KFC. I come home, play video games. I watch the fucking Coronation Street, and that's my life. It's not my life. That was just a wrong story. You know, sometimes I do watch, I'm joking, I don't watch Coronation Street, but do you understand what I mean? We're going a full circle, and I'm still in the process. I haven't got it all figured out, guys, but so far I've healed a lot, my life is transformed, and I want to inspire and encourage people to do the same. So become your own parent, and this is everything you'll ever need, and then you'll reconnect with your family and it will get better. All right? That was it, that's tiring that was. I'm gonna go to Whole Foods now and get some food. Remember, doesn't matter what you say, I don't care what the guys say, what we all say, what I say, it's all about love. Always has been, always will be. Enjoy the process.